Hey everybody, this is John for Pioneer Nexus MTG coming at you with a deck overview, this time Mono White Midrange Control in the format. As a friendly reminder, if you do like these informative deck overviews, please consider subscribing to my channel, giving us a thumbs up, leaving a constructive comment down below, maybe let us know what deck you'd like to see us cover next. So this deck is kind of what happens when an old high school star tries to relive his glory days and wants to feel something, but just ends up sad. So, back in the format, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was the combo winter. You had Dimir Inverter, you had Underworld Breach, Lotus Field combo, you had a mono white deck based around Heliod, Walking Ballista, and just playing a bunch of random value generating permanents to buy you enough time to get to the point where that combo was relevant. This is kind of like that. It's kind of like Mono Black Midrange, except I'm just going to throw a bunch of permanents in play and get some value out of it. And hope that's good enough. You start that train by good old Thraben Inspector with a clue token. Knight of the White Orchid if you're on the draw, or happen to skip a land drop, you can get a little bit ahead by searching for planes out of your deck, putting them into play. Tomic, just a way to keep Lotus Field from doing its thing. Book of Exalted Deeds with Mutavault, way from keeping your opponent from winning the game. Skyclave Apparition, removal spell on a stick. Touch the Spirit Realm, removal spell on a stick. Flicker your annoying creatures. Search for Glory, way to find your various legendary creatures, sagas, or snow permanents. Looks like you should be really running some snow lands in this list. Hence why you're running Faithless Haven. Although they should be snow-covered plains, I'm guessing, instead of that. You also have copies of the World Tree, Nykthos, etc. The 4-drop slot. Cellular Wreckage. Keep your opponent off balance from attacking. Starheim Unleashed. Create a 4/4 angel token in Vigilance. The spell is foretold. Create X of those angels. Nice Nykthos payoff. Wandering Emperor. You're playing a white deck, why not? Golos, one of you can search for Glory, can search up your Nykthos. Thalia's Lancers. You search your library for a legendary card. You have a bunch of legends in this deck, why not? Lyra, Legendary Angel, annoying for your opponent. Cataclysmic Gearhulk, great way to blow your opponent's board to heck. Doomscar, removal spell. Amaria's Call is one of. Can give all your things indestructible, create some 4/4 angels. March of Otherworldly Light. More removal spells. Why not? This version, a little bit different than the version we'll talk about in a second, but just wanted to point this version out that there were other things out there. Rest in Peace is one of in the main deck. Why not? Especially if you have access to it with Search for Glory. Snowcar, Legendary, or Saga card. I guess you can't search for it that way. Potion of Healing, kind of a weird one. It's basically Healing Salve with draw a card attached. Charming Prince, it slices, it dices, exiles your own creature to get some value off of it, scries 2, gains some life, buys you some time. Once again, you're just trying to outvalue a deck like Rakdos Midrange. Sideboard, Weathered Runestone, any type of graveyard nonsense, keeps your Greasefang stuff from coming back, keeps your Phoenixes from coming back. Unlicensed Hirsch, much the same thing, good against graveyard nonsense. Phoenix, Greasefang. Pithing Needle, shut down problematic permanents. Enough said. Deafening Silence, pretty good against Lotus Field, pretty good against Izzet Phoenix. Faithful Absence, more removal spells, why not? Calamity's Wake, exile all graveyards, players can't cast non-creature spells. More graveyard hate, beginning to sense a pattern here. Then Emrakul the Promised End, when, you need another legend that goes even over the top of over the top of over the top. Urion, you're playing 80 card nonsense, why wouldn't you play it? In the end, this is a value pile, just trying to stay alive. Pretty good against other mid-range piles. Kind of grounding against control, but probably dirtles a bit too much. Might have enough to keep it alive against aggro. Struggles against the fringes of the deck. If you're noticing things like Tomic and such, Lotus Field's probably a bad matchup. Things like 5-color Nib might be able to compete with it, just on pure power alone, etc. But, Powerful, cool deck you should be aware of. Probably not that good overall, why you don't see it. It is a deck that popped up for a week or two as a way to fight Rakdos before Mono Green got its footing again, but nothing too exciting. But there is one more version of the deck we'll take a look at. This version is basically Mono White Karn and Friends. I don't have Heliod anymore, I don't have Blist anymore, just add Karn. But you're seeing a lot of the same values, playing a little bit of a mountain package in this list. You know, some Sacred Foundries, some Triomes, mainly to be able to run copies of Chain of the Rocks and still have your white spells. You're playing a small white splash for Fable the Mirror Breaker. Fixes some of the problems in the deck. You know, a deck that's slow and clunky like this can have some wrong half problems. Drawing that seems quite nice. Rafine's Informant, nice way to connive, put some value on the battlefield. Charming Prince, it slices it dices. Ambitious Farmhand, whenever enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic plains card, reveal it, put it in your hand. And then it can flip over into a 3/3 lifelinker, basically a poor man's version of Knight of the Orchid, although it puts it in your hand rather than on the battlefield. But you also don't have to be ahead on lands or behind on lands, so not all horrible. Extraction Specialist, 3/2 lifelinker that can bring back a body if you happen to have any of these other things. Spirited Companion, get another valuable card. 2-for-1 Elvish Visionary on a stick. Skyclave Apparition, deal with problematic permanents. Cirrus Paragon allows you to recur all of this crap plus lands out of your graveyard, including Fable Passage. Alcest Conquers Death, slow clunky white control deck. Exile all your opponent's powerful stuff, seems pretty good. Also Reanimation on the back end, and March of Otherworldly Light we've already kind of talked about. The Karn package, you have a bunch of stuff here. You have Pithing Needle, you have Tormod's Crypt, graveyard stuff, problematic permanents, with activated abilities, whether it be keeping something like Thespian Sage from copying Nykthos, to opposing Karns, to opposing Planeswalkers, etc. Portable Hole and Glass Casket, searchable removal spells. Unlicensed Hearse goes with the graveyard pile. Sky Sovereign, kind of the king of the mid-range mirrors, along with various creature-based decks. Godpharaoh's Statue, kind of the KO, close the game out. Fourth copy of Alcest Conqueror's Death, very much when you're getting into Battle Cruiser Magic. Cataclysmic Gearhulk, very much the same thing. March of Otherworldly Lights, very good removal spells, deals with a lot of annoying stuff. You're playing a bunch of white cards, you can easily pitch if you have to. Gideon and Wandering Emperor, when you need more Planeswalkers for the grind fests. And then Yorion, because why not when it's legal, right? Overall, this deck was kind of a blink and you missed it when it made its comeback. Put out some results here or there. Every once in a while you'll see a list pop up, but this deck is very much about just grinding out value. Very similar to the Mono White Midrange that pop up every now and again in the modern format. They're usually not that exciting. They seem really boring on the surface, but if the format becomes this kind of mid-range slugfest, this is kind of a deck you can go to. Now, obviously, it struggles with something like Mono Green, because Mono Green does what it does better and faster. Still has a lot of the same value plans, has a very good Rakdos matchup, all that kind of stuff. But, if you're seeing a lot of, like, Orzhov midrange and Rakdos midrange and Mono Black and this, that, and the other thing, this is one of the decks that you can just, like, pick up out of your, random case and expect to do quite well, as you're just going to outvalue almost everything. Even Control might have some problems keeping up with the value this deck generates. It's very much incremental advantages. The other version was a little bit more based around Legends, being able to search for stuff. Whether that's better than the Karn version, I doubt it, but you should be aware of both versions. This is a mid-range killer. Probably okay against the aggressive decks as long as they don't have too nutty of a start. Probably struggles into the random decks like Lotus Field Combo, etc. Probably struggles into Mono Green. It's probably not a deck you want to have high up on your playlist, but if you like to relive the Heliod Ballista Glory days without the actual reason you played the card, or without the actual I win the game combo, this is the deck for you. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what deck you might like to see us cover next on the channel.